Hey, I'm back. It's Robin. I just thought I would do a quick video on learning styles. I meant to get this out earlier in the week, but we're getting ready to go to Orlando for my daughter Shelby's World Series for fast pitch. Her team made it for the USSSA World Series. So been busy running errands and doing laundry and taking her to extra practices and such, so that's why I haven't been around, so I apologize. I just wanted to go over with you some different ways that people learn. Like I said in my previous videos, you know, I kind of had trouble in high school. I was trying to learn like everybody else just by sitting there and writing a bunch of notes, and I was trying to write everything down, and I couldn't really decipher what was important and what wasn't, and I didn't want to leave anything out, so I was trying to write it all, and I just wasn't doing what was best for myself. But then again, no one really told me different ways of learning, so that's why I thought maybe I could throw some stuff out to you, take what you want, throw away the rest, and let's get going. So I wrote my notes. I cured myself. I know, it's how I roll. Okay. 3 basic learning styles: auditory, hearing; visual, seeing; and kinesthetic, hands-on, doing things yourself. I'm a combination of all 3, but I'm primarily visual and kinesthetic. I learn best by, well, I do learn some by hearing you, listening to what you're saying, but I learn best by watching, observing, looking at pictures, diagrams, writing small notes to go with it, things that I think may help me remember, and then absolutely by doing it myself. Let me watch you, let me do it, and I will remember so much better than just listening to someone talk at me. I know lectures might be a little difficult for me, so with, of course, permission from my instructors, I did buy myself a recorder, okay, that I can record the longer lectures and be able to refer back to them later. That way I can actually focus on what they're saying, write down maybe some key things to go along if they hand out something with PowerPoint or whatever, diagrams of something, whatever, I can go along with that, but I don't have to worry about getting every single tiny thing down and trying to remember it all and overwhelming myself, because I'll have this recorder. This recorder also will plug right into my laptop, so I can download them. I can put it on my iPod, so I can kind of re-listen in my car, or if I'm taking a walk or doing the dishes or whatever. It's called multitasking. Okay, so let's start with the auditory learners. People that can hear something and execute it. They can just do it. They don't necessarily need to watch or need to do hands-on. They can sit there and listen to you talk forever and execute whatever it is that you're asking them to do. Of course, taping lectures or whatever is good for you as a strategy tip. Vocalizing, reading out loud. I tell my students this all the time. When you read silently, a lot of people forget things. Haven't you ever read a paragraph over and over and over again, and you're like, what did I just read? Or something didn't make sense to you. But if you're saying it out loud, your mind catches things that maybe you stumble across, or if you happen to skip a line or whatever. By hearing yourself, you're going to remember so much more, okay? And even if you're in a quiet area, put that open book up in front of your face and just whisper, because you can still hear yourself if you're whispering, okay? And you shouldn't be bothering anybody, and if you are, too bad. So that might help. Small group discussion, absolutely. Excuse me, because you're learning by listening. Teaching back to people, for any learning style, teaching back to somebody or practicing things out loud yourself will help reinforce and stick in your mind as well. Have someone quiz you verbally. My Shelby comes out all the time and says, Mommy, can you ask me a vocabulary word and let me know if I get it right or whatever. She's also a highly visual person, but she likes that reinforcement with another person that she is getting things right. So try some of those tips out if you're an audio person. Visual is next. I'm highly visual. I can take a diagram or picture and make sense of it. If you ever have bought and boxed furniture or something you've put together that has written instructions and pictures, I just look at the pictures. I don't necessarily need the written diagram. Or, written instructions. Okay. So, having that, you know, I might write down and add some things that someone's saying to me to help go with the pictures. But really, diagrams, they're great for me. If I'm going to learn something new, like, I don't know, a salsa class or something, you know, hearing the steps, okay, but if I see someone do it, I can execute it just by watching them and learning the order of something. Let me see. Oh, sorry, sitting on my feet. They're asleep. Okay. Daytona on the stairs? Okay. My dog's sitting on the stairs. My daughter had to come down for something. Okay, sorry. I need to. Okay. Ooh, much better. Okay. Sorry about that. So people who are visual, you know, lectures may not make a whole lot of sense unless or until you have something to go with it, something visual that you can look at, or if they're step-by-step instructions while they're executing or doing something. So maybe the clinical aspect is going to make more sense to you. And that is absolutely me. I know that classroom classes I take will make so much more sense once I'm in the clinical setting and I can apply what I've learned. Okay, doing it myself is going to make a lot more sense. So things I do to help myself learn is I sit towards the front of the class. And I know this about myself now, and I probably knew it then, but no one sat in the front. I mean, none of my friends sat in the front. I kind of sat by them. But visual learners kind of need to be away from distraction. Okay, so if you know this about yourself, sit towards the front, sit towards the middle, because if you're kind of way off on the sides too, if something's being shown to you on a projector or a board or something, the angle, sometimes shadows, it's hard for you to copy things down on the board. So if you're sitting front and you don't have to be in the right of the front row, but you can, you know, be a few rows back, but more towards the center. That way also you're not distracted by someone walking in. I'm like, oh, that's a cute bag. I wonder where she got that from. Or, ooh, he's texting, you know. You know, I know that about myself. I know I can be distracted by other things going on visually. So sitting towards the front of the class. Flashcards. Flashcards don't help everybody, but flashcards are very good for people who are hands-on or visual learners. You can also do the memory game with flashcards. You know, sometimes people have like the word on one side and the definition on the other. But what you can also do is put, like if you're doing vocabulary, the word on one, definition on the other, you lay them down, you pick one up, you try and find the match. We would do that with kids in school and they thought it was fun, and you know, it breaks up the monotony of reviews. Rewriting your own notes, or the notes you get from your teacher in your own words. When you're saying it out loud, rewriting it yourself again, I know it's an extra step, but to a lot of people it's a step that helps it stick. Okay? Again, reteaching it to somebody else, explaining something to somebody else. So if you get in a small group discussion, be the recorder. You know, write down what people are saying, highlight, underline. I know for myself, I buy colored pens. Love them. It breaks up the monotony of the blue and black ink. I can choose a different color for a new subject when we're starting something new. Highlighting is big, using different. When I was in school, I highlighted everything. I didn't know what was important. I couldn't really decipher what I needed and what I didn't. What I've learned since then is if an instructor repeats something, you know, if they're walking around or they're really stressing something, write that down, highlight that. If you're reading a book and there's a picture off to the side with something written underneath it, learn that piece of information, write it down somewhere, names, dates, anything italicized, you know, the writing that's kind of off and different than the rest of the writing. These are usually keys, or if they're bold or underlined or something like that, these are things that you're going to want to remember, learn. I've also learned myself the key to memorization is association. So, like if I'm learning someone's name, Karen. Well, my older sister's name is Karen, so I will be able to remember her name because I've associated her with my sister. Okay, little things like that. Color and label. So I know when I get ready for anatomy and physiology class, there are books out there that are like color books. You know, you can get them and you can color them in and then label, you know, make your own labels off to the side, draw your lines in. Doing things like this are great for people who are visual. Okay, did I miss anything? Nope. For visual learners, that's pretty much it. And then there's your kinesthetic learners, your hands-on learners. You learn by doing. Sitting for long periods of time during a lecture, during my videos, may not make a whole lot of sense to you until you can get up and do it yourself. Learning the skeleton, like anatomy and physiology again, getting up and feeling of the bones and moving them around, or if you're a mechanic and you're holding something in your hand, you can take it apart and put it back together. That's how you're learning about the pieces. My sister Tony is highly kinesthetic. At age 4, she was putting these humongous jigsaw puzzles together that I'm like, how is she doing that? You know, it was just amazing what she did learning hands-on. Study strategies for you. Still taking notes that are given to you or taking your own notes and highlighting, using different colors, again using different pens. When you're at home and you're going over material, walking around while you're reading something or memorizing something. Like I said earlier with the recorder and putting it to your iPod, if you're a runner, run and listen to this stuff. Repeat it back to yourself. Just by you getting up and moving around. I had a lot of students who could not sit. You know, they would just be so anxious, and I would just be like, let's get up and do something. Divide people into groups and come up with activities by moving around. Things might help stick with you better that way too. Create practice tests for yourself. I had 2 little girls that would always make up their own practice tests, and I thought that was the coolest little thing. And by them coming up with the questions to ask and then knowing what answers would go with what, they were just that it just worked so well for them, and they always did well on their quizzes and tests, and they would quiz each other. They were like, oh, I made yours, and you know, they would switch and everything. So make up tests for yourself, quiz yourself that way. It's a visual, it's something you've created. By you creating it, you're remembering the content. You're going to have to grade it, so even if you get the answer wrong, by you going over it and inserting the correct answer, you're going to remember that so much easier. So, you know, take some of these tips. If you have any of your own, I know there's 1,000 more that I just couldn't really remember off the top of my head, but if you write it, say it, and do it, more than likely you're going to remember so much more than just by doing what everybody else is doing. And if you have any questions in class, I don't care what anybody else, if you're there, or as long as you're not, you know, every 2 seconds raising your hand. Raise your hand, because I guarantee you there are 5 other people in that classroom that are like, oh, thank God, she's asking the question. Because they have the same question. Now, if you just have question after question after question, and you know, that might be a time for you to get with a professor, see if your school has free tutoring like mine does. Come up with a study group. If you're just not getting any of the material, you know, you just might need a little bit more one-on-one with an instructor or a tutor. But by all means, don't let somebody stop you from raising your hand, and because you might forget later on what it was that you wanted to ask. Let it make sense right then and there. There's a saying, and I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes. It's something like, if you tell me, I will forget. If you show me, I will remember. If you involve me, I will understand forever. Love it. Speaks to me, goes with what I'm trying to say here. So thank you for joining me again. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for my subscribers. I have like 52 subscribers within a week, And I just think that's fantastic. I've made so many good friends here on YouTube already.